Today, I want to pull back the curtain. I want to expose everything. I want to explain exactly what Barbers Illustrated is and what we're building and why I believe this industry needs an entirely new standard.
Welcome to Barbers Illustrated, moving mindset from artistry to business, unlocking pricing architecture and scaling strategies, with your host, Jason Bell.
Welcome to the Barbers Illustrated podcast, where the craft of barbering meets the mindset of ownership. I'm your host, Jason Bell, and before we get into today's episode, I just want to say this. The barber industry has never had a true global media voice until now. Today, we're going to talk about the blueprint for a new industry standard. That's correct. We're setting a new industry standard, and you're going to get the blueprint right here. I'm going to show you how to do it, what we have to do as an industry to do it. In our first episode, we talked about why this platform exists, why I created Barbers Illustrated. You all know why. We talked about why barbering deserves more respect, more professionalism, more opportunity, and why we need to permanently remove the phrase, "I'm just a barber." Because let's be honest, there's no such thing as just a barber. But once you make that shift, once you decide that you want to stop treating this career like a hustle and start treating it like a profession, you're going to run into a problem. And really, you're going to run into a big problem. And that problem is you look around the industry and you're going to ask yourself, where's the blueprint? You're going to ask yourself, where do I learn to build a business? Where do I learn financial systems? Where do I learn leadership? How do I scale? Where do I learn how to scale? And those are all valid questions, and those are all valid things that if you want to scale and you want to become a real professional, that you're going to have to ask. But not only do you have to ask them, you have to find the solution for those. Because when the corporate executives, when they want to grow, they go to business school. When an entrepreneur wants to scale his company, there are frameworks to do so. It's data, case studies, systems, But when a barber wants to build something bigger, then, we're often told, work harder, stay later, squeeze in that extra, walk in, post more content, get more followers. And that's not a blueprint at all. That's survival mode. And if you're going to scale, and if you're going to build something that's bigger than you and something you're going to build that legacy, you can't do that on survival mode. Okay. So today I want to pull back the curtain. I want to expose everything. I want to explain exactly what Barbers Illustrated is and what we're building, and why I believe this industry needs an entirely new standard. When most people hear the name Barbers Illustrated, the first thing they think is the magazine. And that's fine. Yes, we do have a premium print physical publication, and we intentionally created something tangible, something you can hold in your hand. You know what I mean? Because something that sits in your shop, and something that carries weight, something that you can actually feel and see and touch. Because in the world filled with endless, scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on X, all those things, physical media matters. It creates presence, it creates creatability, credibility, it creates, professionalism. When a client sits in your chair and picks up an issue of Barbers Illustrated that you have in your shop, the atmosphere changes. The perception changes, the standard changes. I mean, let's be honest, the standard changes. But if you think we're simply a magazine company, you're missing the architecture. Because magazines, they capture moments, but media companies build moments, if that makes sense. I didn't create Barbers Illustrated to build a fan club. I didn't build this platform to showcase haircut photos, and I didn't create it for likes. I built it because I saw a gap, a massive, massive gap. And I'm not downing anyone that, shows haircut tutorials on their platform, or who shows, haircut videos, or I don't, barbers who are out here just chasing likes. I'm not downing any of that. If that's your lane, I'm gonna stay out of it. That has nothing to do with me or Barbers Illustrated or what we're building at Barbers Illustrated. But the industry has no shortage of technical education. If you want to learn to fade, you can find thousands of tutorials on YouTube. If you want to learn beard work, you can find hundreds of thousands of videos on YouTube. The artistry is covered. The haircut is covered. The technical side of barbering is covered many times over. But who's teaching barbers how to calculate profitability, how to build a system, how to navigate leases, how to understand taxes, how to build assets, how to create wealth? That's the gap. That's the massive gap I was talking about. And Barbers Illustrated exists to build a bridge over that gap. How can I say? Okay, I believe that the future barber isn't just a technician. I believe the future barber is a professional, an entrepreneur, an educator, a leader, and an owner. All of those things are what you see or you should see in the future barber, you know? So we're going to create a new standard. You have to build a new foundation, okay? And that's exactly why we created the Barbers Illustrated education system. And our curriculum aligns with the technical standards of our industry that our industry requires. The foundation, the fundamentals, the things barbers must know. We are NIC aligned. We are, Barber Board accredited. You can use our education system and pass the state board. But we didn't stop there because technical skill alone isn't enough. We built business education directly into the Barbers Illustrated education system because nobody gave us that in barber school. So we built one. Our educational framework operates in 4 stages. Stage 1 is the shift, moving from barber to entrepreneur, learning to think differently, escaping the survival mode, developing an ownership mindset. That's stage number 1. Stage number 2, the system, understanding pricing, understanding capacity, revenue, profitability, and breaking the busy and broke cycle because there's a lot of barbers out here who are making like tons of money and are super busy, but they're broke. And that can be fixed. It's not something that can't be fixed. You don't have to live in that hamster wheel. You don't have to do it. Stage 3, the brand, learning how to build authority, create content, develop trust, and position yourself professionally, not just out here, willy nilly. There's a system to it all. And then stage 4 is the empire, wealth building, financial literacy, tax strategy, business ownership, and building something that outlives your hands, something that outlives you, that you can leave to the next generation, whether that be your children or if you don't have children, you can leave to your nieces and nephews, or you can, retire your parents, whatever you want to do. Because eventually the chair shouldn't be the finish line. That should never be an option. It should be the foundation, but not the finish line. And that's the new blueprint: professionalism, education, ownership, structure, and growth. 5 things, 5 standards, that not only completely change the future of this industry, but it can elevate everybody in the industry. So let me be very clear, and I understand it. This platform isn't for everybody. There's 8 billion people in the world. I don't expect 8 billion people to know what Barbers Illustrated is or be concerned about what Barbers Illustrated is doing. So, if you're looking for shortcuts, this ain't for you. If you're looking for social media gimmicks and all that kind of stuff, this isn't for you. If you're looking for someone to tell you to simply work harder, this isn't for you. But if you're a barber and you want to build a real business, If you're a shop owner who wants to create and, who wants to operate your business like a CEO, if you're an educator who wants to elevate the profession, if you're someone who believes barbering deserves more, then you're exactly where you need to be. This is exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what we're building here at Barbers Illustrated, because we're not building followers, we're not building uh, uh, gimmicks or none of that kind of stuff. We're building leaders. We're not building an audience. We're building owners. We're not building hype. We're building infrastructure. And that's the main thing, infrastructure. So I'll leave you with this. Um, Industries don't change because everybody agrees. Industries change because enough people decide to rise the standard, and I believe that's exactly what's happening right now. The standard of barbering is rising because too many people are tired of what they're seeing on social media and tired of how this industry is being represented. So that's our mission, that's our blueprint, and that's exactly what this podcast is going to deliver. Episode after episode, conversation after conversation, system after system. And now that we've established the standard, it's time to get practical, because our next episode, we're going to talk about one of the biggest traps in the barber industry, the busy and broke paradox. Why fully booked calendars don't always create profitable businesses, and the exact mindset shift required for breaking free. That's what we're going to do. So if this episode helped you think differently about your craft and your future, make sure you subscribe, share this episode with a barber that you think needs to hear this, and stay connected with everything we're building here at Barbers Illustrated, man. It's going to change the industry. It's going to change lives. We're going to do major things. So thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. This is where the industry finds its voice. This is Barbers Illustrated Media, and we're not just building a brand. We're building the biggest barber media company on the planet.